Good morning. Take a good seat. And that means a nice manual inner rotation to wake up the pelvis by rotating the thigh bones inward. And then we counter that so we don't keep going too far in. We go in to get a curve in the low back. The tailbone lengthens down and engages slightly forward to tone the low belly pelvic floor. And the xiphoid, bottom tip of the sternum, moves down towards the tailbone. Tailbone moves slightly up towards the xiphoid. It's a subtle but clear engagement. And from that strength, then you rise up without losing that sense of, I've been calling this the xiphoid zip, so zip the xiphoid to the tailbone. Keeping that and lift through each vertebrae of the spine and maybe even shrug the shoulders slightly to get up and out of the hips. Keeping that, take the head of the arm bones back and slide the shoulder blades down the back. Close your eyes and bring your awareness to your breath. And settle in, starting with the physical body, noticing what's going on, what feels loose, what feels tight, what doesn't feel at all. And as you connect more with the breath, connect to your subtle body, energy body. The psychosocial body, maybe just the psycho body. And moving into the subtle body takes you into your heart. What is your heart's desire? The deepest, fullest part of you. And set that as your intention for your practice. Draw your palms together in front of the heart center. One soft Om, inhale cleansing breath. Inhale to Om. Release the hands, flutter the eyes open. Find your sticky ball, spiky ball, or lacrosse or tennis ball. Or again, just use your hands to massage and start to work out. If you're working one hand at the time, then press the base of each knuckle around the circumference of the palm, down by the wrist, and then begin to press the center of the palm. Not do this on the cork floor directly. And then begin to rinse from wrist to thumb, then to wrist index finger, and proceed on down the line. If you're doing it two-handed, then just keep rolling. Switch hands if you haven't already, pressing first the base of each finger around the circumference of the palm, the outer heel, by the wrist, then the center. Then begin to rinse from wrist to fingertip. And release. Shake the hands like there's no paper towels in the bathroom. And the fingers snap. Oh, wake up. And come to hands and knees, please. If you're on the chair, so the option on the chair is to sit on the edge of the chair, and you'll be doing exhale, round, inhale, extend, exhale, round, and do cat-cow, if you're on your hands and knees. So it's from the sits bones, the hips are moving, are the action Jackson part of the movement. So a lot of times when people's hips are tight, they'll do it with the head, and that's easier to do hands and knees. When you're in the chair, that's harder. You have to really actually feel yourself rolling to the frontmost edge of the sits bones, then rolling to the back. The head follows as you go. And continue, make that as big or small as you want. Stretching it out. And then pause in the middle. If you're on hands and knees, do the wag the dog. So the left ear goes towards the left hip bone, the right ear goes to the right. On the chair, you're doing a little bit of a just tilt over and tilt over. It's a gentle tilt, not just with the head, but feeling the stretch around the side of the body. The next time you come through center pause, tuck your toes, walk your knees back a bit and lift into an easy dog and walk your dog. On the chair, turn around and do an easy dog here. Oh, that feels good. And inhale, walk your hands back to your toes if you're on the floor, or walk the feet towards the chair and come to standing. So if you want to go through the sun's, it's a gentle or a modified sun salutation with the chair, bring your chair in the studio here around to the front edge of the mat so that the seat is towards you. Flip it around. Then you can do regular sun salutation if you want. But the chair does help you get a bit of an interesting stretch and a little bit different lunge. All right. Step forward to the chair, face it. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, bow forward. Place your hands on either side of the seat of the chair and step back into half forward bend. Oh. Soften the knees as you need to. Inner thighs move back and apart as the tailbone lengthens into the space. Stretch all the way. Move the armpits as far away from the hip bones as you can and pull the shoulder blades back down to back. Oh. Inhale, come up. Step your right foot forward. The back heel is up still and come into a lunge. Feet are, Ruby, if you widen your feet apart a bit, it will give you more stability. Then lift the back heel as best you can. Back heel lifts all the way. Yeah, to get a good bend in the toes. Bend the front knee. So if the ankle is right about under the hip, the chair seat, then the shin will come and press kind of into the base of the chair. But if your foot's behind it, you'll start to over bend the knee. The shin to be straight up and down. Now light on the chair, fingertips on the chair. Scissor the legs, back toes energetically moving forward, front foot back. Oh, the fans are off. And then either stay here or hands to the hips. Keep pressing the shin into the base of into the seat of the chair without pushing it over, just touching. You can stay here, again, bus stop. You decide how much farther to go. Keep playing with your balance here or come up. And then if you want full beach babe, hands behind the head, elbows forward, soften the armpits back and curl back. Ooh. And release. Step back, downward facing dog or chair dog. From chair dog, step the other foot, the left foot forward, and you wiggle it forward enough that when the front of the shin touches the edge of the chair, the shin is straight up and down, perpendicular. Now wiggle the back foot back and a little over to the right. Lift the back heel high And scissor the legs. Again, stay here if you're working for balance here. Hands on the hips. And as the hands on the hips push the legs down, then you rise up against that. Shoulder blades on the back. Stop at any one of these stops or full beach babe. Elbows forward, soften the armpits back. Push the head into the hand. And notice that as soon as you push your head into your hands, the shin pulls away from the chair. Just give it that touch. It's not really pushing, just some sensitivity there that it's moving back. And on your next inhale, release back to dog or chair dog. If you're on chair dog, place the hands then are on top of the chair seat. Push down with the arms. The hands and the arms push into the chair. Pull the shoulder blades on the back. Oh, and stretch long. Nice. Inhale, come up, rise up. Oh, interlace the hands behind the back and reach back. Oh. All right, let's work the feet. Bring the ball under the feet, begin to press. And here you can use the chair for balance as you need to, the wall. If the feet are wide enough apart, it gives you a little bit more stability. Begin to press hard at the base of each toe. Ow. Then start to work to the soft part of the arch. Begin to work to the back part of the arch and into the heel. And then do your rinsing and scribbling as you wish. So with these hot August days, I'm finding my energy is seriously sapped. Yeah, and I started thinking, well, am I depressed? Well, yeah, because I like to be active and I don't feel like getting up and release, change both sides. That's where the group holds us together. It at least gets us together, because if I'd had my druthers today, I'd still be. But it's something about the force of the community, the home community, the studio community. It just gets me up. And then once I get here, I'm okay. I'll start to do something. But I have found that my August practice and August teaching, I've just become a little more quieter, cooler. Sunday, we did just very deep hip and psoas stretches. And we all kind of we all seem to need it at some point, but it's like the idea of doing a lot of standing poses, I was just too sapped. And begin to rinse and scribble if you haven't already. Explore foot number 2. And then set the ball free. Go, be free. You were? Oh, you thought it was just you? Yeah. I mean, I think all the COVID response stuff it helps pull you down in the typical August response. All right. You'll take the chair and put it, so I don't have all feet on the chair, I have the front feet, so you guys will face me, face the chair, have the chair face me when you're sitting down in it. There you go. At least the front feet on the mat so your regular feet have room. Sit way up on the edge and just pause a minute. With the feet parallel, the ankles right under the knees. Move the inner thighs down and push the sits bones back, and as though you could widen them. Tailbone pulls into that space, the low belly firms. Then you'll notice the upper body just naturally sits up. When the lower body is collapsed, the upper body has to go with it. When you tilt forward, so sit on the edge, Dan, way on the edge. Otherwise, this is what we do. We'll lean, and that's fine, we'll work on that. But there's a sense of upliftment here. Rotate to your left hip, stretch the right leg back behind you. All facing this way. Again, the thigh, all of the thigh, and you can scoot back as you need to, all of the thigh is supported by the chair. Then bend the back knee as though you're bringing the knee towards the floor. It won't, most of us, unless we're very long-legged, will not go to the floor. That allows you then to square your hips towards the short edge of the mat. The left hand can be on the back of the chair to support you and help pull you around. The right hand takes hold, sort of holds the outside of the left leg, left knee. And then push, as you scissor the legs together, press into your front foot and begin to push out through the back heel. You're still staying down on the chair. You're just starting to stretch the back leg to see to what degree can it go straight. So Carrie, if the left arm is on the back of the chair, yeah, then you're not doing a super duper twist. Nice. And you'll notice there's a stopping point there, at which point you can straighten the back leg. You may get it close to straight, or as you move to straight, you might feel that you have to tilt forward. See if you can bend the knee, then sit upright so the shoulders are over the hips, and then push from there. And you may not straighten it as much. Tilting forward, yes. Straightening is easier. Big stretch around the psoas and the quadricep and the front hip flexors. Oh, and release. The other thing on the chair that we can do is hold it longer. So if you're doing it without the chair, you may want to come in and out of it a little bit more. And then shift. You're on the edge of the front edge of the chair, almost off of it. The whole right thigh is on the chair. The back leg, the idea, the tendency to open this hip is strong. Want to shift around and bend the back knee as much as you need to square the hips to the short edge of the mat. The right arm can hold on to the back of the chair. So you're not trying to turn to the back of the chair. It just feels like a twist because you're stretching, you're squaring the shoulders and the hips with the short edge of the mat. So Dan, you're doing too much of a twist here. There, it's just here, not here. You're moving, you just want to have your headlights go straight ahead. The left hand takes hold, just hold somewhere on the outside of the front leg. Scissor the legs, press into the front foot as though you're trying to lift off the chair, but don't lift. Just give it enough of an energy. And then slowly, without tilting the upper body forward, begin to push through the back heel, moving towards straight. It may not straighten. If you get here and you feel it in the low back, it means, first of all, you're very tight across the front, which we tend to be here. But, scissor in and more tailbone, more zip the xiphoid. Big stretch across the back thigh. And working the muscles. So it's as though you're trying to hover off the chair. You're not putting all your weight down into it. You're using it about 60, 70% of your weight's on the chair. If they pulled it out, we'd be down. And release. Come to the front. So the chair is my August way of saying, I don't really want to stand up, but I do want to get a little bit of work. Take a wide stance, then the knees are bent, feet are turned out slightly. Rest on your forearms. It's kind of like the exhausted athlete sit, but lengthen from the spine. It's not about rounding over. Sits bones are moving back and the pelvic floor widens. Tailbone lengthens down into that space. Zip the xiphoid, pull the side ribs up towards the back body. In this case, moving more towards the ceiling. And stretch the heart forward. The elbows then push the inner thighs away slightly and the inner thighs resist. So Dan, you've got long legs, you can go out a little wider. a little bit wider, and a little farther forward, feet forward. There you go, there you go. Now, do you feel the stretch in the inner thighs here? As the arms are pushing the inner thighs away, but the knees are hugging back. Oh, and lengthen, the back is long. Some of you may be able to go all the way down and can hold on to the ankles, push the elbows, keep pushing out, and stretch farther here. Inhale, come up. Now we're having fun. All right, switch to the first side with your left leg on the chair. This time, as the back leg, the right leg moves back, then rotate the leg so the leg rotates out and the foot's on the floor. You may turn the toes in more, work the outer edge of the foot to the floor. So Ruby, if you turn your back toes in more, that gives you more inner rotation on the back thigh, even though we're outer rotating it as we move it back. Work the baby toe side and the outer heel to the floor. Let me see why that's not happening for you, Dan. Well, all right, there's that. All right. All right, scissor in. Now, the hips, notice that the hips are about a 45 degree. They're at a diagonal to the long edge of the mat, correct? And that should be. And keep that, but rotate the upper body back to the front towards me and come onto your left elbow, right hand. You recognize this pose? We do this all the time. Remember the resting on the thing. See if you can open your hip more, Dan. Just, in fact, open this out a bit. You can turn the toes out if turning them in is too much. There you go. Now, so put your hand on your straight leg, your back leg hip. It's rolling forward, but the upper body is rolling out and up towards the ceiling. So don't open this hip back too far. Pull it forward, rotate around. We work more into the subtleties. With a little bit of weight here, then shift your weight to where, yes, it's on the chair, but you're taking more in your legs to the degree you can. Just play that edge. The chair's still there. If it got pulled out from under me, I would fall. But so I'm not quite up the whole way. The chair's still supporting me, but maybe more like 40%. And breathe. And take the weight off the top arm and stretch it out in an angle. Come into full beach babe. Oh, spin the heart up as the belly button spins down. Oh, scissor the legs. Legs are working a lot, but thankfully we will not fall over. And release. Oh. Am I the, yeah, now how do we get out of this, right? I'm glad I have the chair here because am I the only one feeling this? I feel like this is a fair bit of work. And Sherry and Allison, you guys can chirp in anytime you want to. All right, so this is a twist. The back leg, the tendency to roll to the inner edge of the foot is strong within us. Work to the outer edge. Was this knee also reconstructed, Dan? All right, then you should be able to press through the back leg, work to the back edge of the foot. You're rolling in. That will hurt your knee. You're pressed to the outer edge of the foot. Outer, there we go. All right, think of the hips. And the shoulders right now are at a diagonal to the long edge of the mat, correct? So that stays the same as the belly is moving. Oh, sorry. Right, and come down onto your forearm. Now, the low belly is moving towards the front leg, down towards the floor, as the ribs and the chest move up towards the ceiling. So don't take it all up or all down. First, you start with the belly moving towards the right, towards the floor, towards the front leg, and the ribs moving towards the sky. Scissor the legs. Take more weight into the legs. Work the outside edge of the foot. So you're not coming off the chair, but you're gradually taking what weight you can off the chair. Then both arms, the bottom arm first stretches, long and elegant, and then come into full beach babe. Elbows forward, pull the head of the arm bones back, soften the armpits, push the head into the hands, and turn up towards the ceiling. Oh, I know, right? And the low belly keeps turning back down towards the floor. And release. I know. All right, stand. Oh, standing's almost at really? Can I do it on the chair? All right, just stand for a moment. Feet parallel. Arms up. Come into cactus pose. And then curl back. So the legs are strong. Tailbone lengthens. So you curl back in the upper body, not in the low back. And not just with the head. So the tendency is for people to lift the chin really high, lengthen the back of your neck, and start to lift the heart. Inhale, release, shake it off. Right. Place the chair again on the edge of the mat towards the center with just the feet, the front feet on the mat. We'll come into a triangle. So the left toes are going to start to crawl under your all right, so let's do it this way. You were right, Ruby. You put your right toes. So you and Carrie will mirror me. So put your right toes, switch legs, and face me here. And then Dan, you can put the chair up there. It'll be good for you because it'll give you some support. And you can do this on a countertop, anything. All right, scissor, lift all 10 toes. Take a wide stance. The back foot roughly is parallel to the short edge of the mat. You can turn it in slightly if that helps and work to the outer edge of the back foot. The tendency is to roll over and collapse the arch of the back foot. So lift, imagine there's wet paint on your inner arch and you're lifting it off the floor. It's what my dance teacher used to tell me. Now press down through the four corners of the feet, hug the feet into the midline and reach with the front hand towards the chair and tilt. Square the shoulders. Top shoulder pulls back. Now, if touching the seat of the chair is not an option, touch the back of the chair, the higher part. Both legs are straight. Pull them in. If you're feeling any undue pull right here under the back of the knee, then you need to press the shin forward energetically to soften the knee. So Ruby, what you can do is turn the chair around so you can reach the back of the chair, giving you something you don't have to tilt down. There you go. Nice. Now you stretch from here. There you go. If you're on the seat of the chair, reach for the back of the chair. Reach up for the back of the chair. Keep reaching. Press the hand down, the hand that's holding the chair, and stretch more. Breathe. Nice. All right, so that looks good, Ruby, because your shoulders now are stacked. You feel a little bit more stable, yes? Good. And release. Do a cleansing dog, a half forward bend on the chair, either using the top of the chair or the seat with a nice stretch out. And inhale, come up. Other foot. So yes, you guys may want to put your chair to the other edge of the mat. So you're facing me unless you want to face away. You getting cramp there, Dan?
I'm exhausted.
You're exhausted. August exhaust. I guess that's why it rhymes, right? So it's August, and now we're exhausted. All right. The other leg, pick a leg. Toes are pointing towards the short edge of the mat. Straighten the legs, work to the outer edge of the back leg. What? There you go. There you go. Right? It is because I can't figure out, I still have not quite adjusted to teaching to the camera and teaching to you guys, so it's frustrating. All right, both legs are straight. Pull up like you're pulling up neoprene leggings, dive suits that's hugging in. Hands on the hips and push down. Remember not to collapse into the front knee. If you have a tendency to always keep your leg bent, you're working more for straight. So you want to keep this straight as possible, the front leg, both legs, and tilt towards the chair. The hand can be on the seat or the hand can be on the top of the chair. Stretch out for it. The same thing, this is a gentle twist. So you can start here or you can start there. You can walk your feet closer in because you're long. There you go. Nice. So the low belly. Yeah, it's an out, the top body stretch here. The low belly is turning down towards the floor as the ribs and the heart are spinning up towards the ceiling. If you're touching the back of the chair or a counter or the back of a couch, press the straight arm hand down and spin. Use that to help you spin up. Relax the head and neck. A lot of times that gets awkward. You're caught in a sunbeam there, Carrie. Oh, what's that song from nursery school? Inhale. It's from Sunday school. Right. What? Which one? Jesus wants you for a sunbeam. I never quite got that. All right, come on up. All right, stretch out. Interlace the hands behind the back, shrug the shoulders, lift the head of the arm bones, and fold forward, either halfway or all the way. Oh. And Dan is saying he wants to get down on the floor, so not a bad idea. All right. Repeat, this is the one you'll do if you're not coming to the floor. This is the one where we'll do the series here and then do some twist. If you're coming to the floor, put use the chair and put it on the inner edge of the mat facing you, because it just means you don't have to hold onto your legs. Either sit on the chair or come down on the floor facing the chair. So the first one is a number 4, but using the chair as a support. If you're on the floor, you'll need to figure out how close to bump your hips or how far away. Place the left leg on the chair seat and the right leg crosses over. This is what we call number 4 because it looks like some version of a number 4. Press into your elbows, lift your chest. If you're sitting upright, you're just sitting here, pulling it up and trying to sit up to it. So it's not so much Ruby pulling away from it. So drop your chin a little bit. There you go. Try to move your heart up and forward towards your legs. Ah, you feel that? There you go. Leave me alone, quit picking on me. If you're not feeling anything here, on the floor, scoot your bum a little closer. You'll notice that starts to bring the knee, the bent knee, the left knee closer to the chest, as well as the right leg comes closer to the chest. Another way to get some more joy out of this, if your right leg is the bent leg, then the right palm snuggles down into the hip crease right near the belly and presses the top of the thigh away from the belly. If your chair starts to slip here, you have to push down, use the left leg to push down, not so much away, unless you can wedge the chair into the wall and it can't go anywhere. Otherwise, you have to engage this leg to push it down. Nice. And release, change sides. Come here, babe. All right. If the chair is sliding away from you, which if you're really working this deeply, it will tend to slide away. If you're at home, wedge it into the wall or push down to engage the hamstring of the right leg. Push the heel down into the chair, the seat of the chair. The left foot is flexed, and then wedge your left heel of your hand into the hip crease, the top of the thigh, and move it away from the belly. And adjust as you need to feel some sort of hip stretch here. And release. Both feet on the chair or on the floor. And cross the right leg all the way. So now, if this is an open cross leg position, if you're sitting, then this is the tighter cross leg position. And so, Ruby, it might help, I don't know, to put a block under your foot. You'd have to see whether that helps or not. Again, if it's impossible to get the knees all the way across, so it looks like this, then, okay, Chu, thanks, babe. Or stay in this pose again on this side. So do the regular number 4 if you need to. So does the block make it harder or easier? Yes. Harder? Yes, right. Because you're lifting, you're doing the same thing we're doing by scooting the bum closer. All right, for those of you who can cross all the way over, do so. And draw the knees towards the chest, release the feet, slide the hands down the shins, coming to hold the handlebars of your Harley. Move the knees away from the chest. That allows you to recover your low back curve. Then push the shins up into the hands, and the hands are pulling back. Flex the feet until you feel your fair share of sensation. If you're feeling no sensation, keep the low back curve more and begin to pull the ankles towards the shoulders more. Carrie, is this working for you? Uh-huh. And Dan, try to relax the head, please. There you go. You can put a little blanket underneath it if it feels like it's too far, and flex your feet. You see how your feet are sickling? Now pull the baby, so you're turning like this. Pull the baby toe side of the foot towards the outer knee. Nice. Relax the head and neck as best you can, shoulder blades on the back. And release. If you're on the floor, shake it. If you're on the chair, just relax, settle in, and then recross to the second side. Again, you can stay with number 4, side 2, second time, or move it to ride your Harley, a form of oh yeah, Kamakasana, seated. All right, slide your hands down your shins. Recover your low back curve by allowing your knees to come away from the chest and snuggle your shoulder blades underneath you. Then flex the feet, pull the baby toe. It's hard to feel sometimes. The sickling feels natural here, but see if you can resist it. Press more through the big toe ball of the foot. As you squeeze the knees together, push the shins up towards the ceiling and pull the heels, the ankles, towards your shoulders as the knees come away from the chest. Oh, and breathe here. And notice that this side is tight in a different way. Or maybe just tighter, who knows? And release. Have a block near you. If you're doing the seated bridge is where you move your bum way back, almost through the back of the chair, And then this is where the roll for the back. Otherwise, we'll do regular supported bridge. I'll guide you through that in a second. If you're doing this in the chair, place a roll right in behind the back, push the sits bones back, then you work your hands behind to hold somewhere on the back of the chair and arc up. Now, Ruby, don't hold this for any huge lengths of time, like hold it for about 2 or 3 breaths, and then inhale, sort of soften and release. I mean, exhale, soften and release, and then come back to it. So don't overstrain here. Yeah, and not so much lifting with the chin. So a lot of times we take a back bend here, we go here and the back stops moving. So we say, well, that's not enough. So the chin drops back. So it's more here. The chin lifts because, yeah, you got it. Then on the chair, it's a couple of ways. Come into supported bridge with the feet on the floor, snuggle the shoulder blades underneath you. You can pause here, then carry. If you want, you can place the feet on the chair to give you that supported shoulder stand effect. The arms, once you've snuggled your shoulder blades underneath you, the arms can lie flat on the floor. Gives a nice inversion. Some of you may want to lift the block. One, I wouldn't go to the highest. Here it just gets a little too tippy unless you have super open back. Otherwise, at its lowest or middle. As long as the chest puffs up and you're rolling towards the tops of your shoulders, then swallow and press the center back of the head into the earth. Slightly pulls the chin away from the sternum, but the sternum's keeping up with it. It's like there's a little tether and you don't get too far away from each other. As one moves, the other moves. So if you're in the chair doing this because you're having to use more work in the arms, then take a few breaths as you're arcing back, and then next breath, release and come forward a little bit, and then take it back again. So do it in a more of a pulsation way, not a straining, holding, efforting way. And then inhale, come out. If you're on the floor, lift your hips, slide the block. On the chair, you will do a chair twist. So sit up more to the edge of the chair. And it helps, I think, to keep a block between the knees that gives you feedback for when the knees are moving, and do this twist one way and then the other. Carry, for this one for you, arms in a T position, knees come towards the chest. You can place a block between the knees if you wish. It kind of helps support the top knee. Then drop the knees over to one side. The closer the knees come to the arm, so keep drawing the knees up. The bottom leg drops all the way to the floor. The top knee has to stay up. That's where a block or a blanket in between the knees. There you go. Got it? I'll show this on the floor here. So what happens on the floor, a lot of times we come over, and because we're tight, the knees begin to drop down. It's not so much wrong, but it can strain the back. So the closer the knees are to the arm, and support it either with a bolster or a block, so the top knee's not hanging in midair. You can turn the block up to the medium height, whatever you need. And then do the same thing that we do when we do a seated twist. Inhale for length, lengthen the spine. Exhale, twist. And notice if you're doing this more with the neck. If the neck's starting to strain, it means the upper body quit twisting a long time ago and you're just trying to twist off that cap. So bring the head back in line with the sternum and spin more from the ribs. And on your next inhale, come back to center and just settle out even. Notice the difference between the two sides. If you're on the chair, if you hug the knees, that prevents you from sliding one knee forward more. On the floor, bump your hips a little bit away from the side you're going and drop the knees over both shoulder blades on the floor. The bottom leg comes to the floor. Top knee, for many of us, will be hanging up in midair, which is where the block helps to support, or a bolster helps you support that leg. And notice at this side, the top leg is even a little higher up. It's not uncommon. So with each inhale, you're lengthening the spine, and exhale, the ribs begin to spin away from the legs. Notice if your head is turning too fast, you'll notice it because you'll get a neck ache, it hurts. So you pull the head back around as the ribs begin to turn more. The low belly is spinning to the opposite side. The low belly is moving towards, if you're on the floor, it's moving towards the floor, the direction your legs are bent, and the upper body is moving away from the floor, away from the legs. And inhale, come back to center and release. So this is similar to what you're already doing in the chair, so you'll do it again. But for us, for the floor, Carrie, do a supported fish pose where you're in the T position, unless you want to come back down on the floor. Dan, you like this one, I think, right? Yep, and so I would keep the blanket here for you, and it's the same thing. It's about an upper chest opener. So you can try what happens when I take the blanket out, what happens when I put the blanket roll in behind the back, or a little foam roller. Huh? Yeah. Well, I think the one we had here, I think it's Caroline's. I think she took it back. But this time you'll just move the roll a little higher up. So before it was down here, move it a little higher up and begin to come to a place where you're not having to grip so much. You just settle here. And again, you have to find a neutral for the neck. Or supported fish is 2 blocks. One is right behind the back of the heart center. And the other one either high or medium. Knees can be bent or straight. If you're sitting in the chair, take as little effort out of it as possible. Find a place where you feel open, relax the neck. You can also, in the chair, I find sometimes my head and neck gets tired. Try holding. So Dan, don't drop the head back quite so much. Hold here, elbows forward, and just rest back. Like we've all done this in a chair. Feels quite nice, actually. Supporting the head. So it is curling back. You are trying to move the head, the face up towards the ceiling, but it's not a dropping back when this is still collapsed. It goes back because the upper back goes back. Does that make sense? It's human, we all do this. We want to do a nice big open back bend and it won't open, so we drop the head back and pinch the back of the neck instead. Why not? Because we can. If your arms start to lose feeling here in half beach babe, certainly pull them down and come out of it for a few moments. Don't go into cramp land. Next, inhale, release. And Carrie, you can stay there for final relaxation if this is doing it for you. Or you can move into regular seated meditation or final relaxation on the floor, supported as you need to. Yeah, so Ruby, walk your feet parallel so they're not flopping out. There you go, just so, yeah, so they're a little bit more supported there. Does that feel okay on the back? Okay, good. And then meditate on the breath. Meditation is an intention. It's not always a certain posture. You can flip your legs over the chair if you wish to do a supported legs, kind of a legs up the chair, legs up the wall version. So pick the position that's best for you this morning, that your body is craving. And then bring your awareness to the breath. Connecting the breath to the physical body, connecting the breath to the subtle body, your energy body. And notice if there's been any shift in your energy body, your feeling emotional body. And then release that awareness to just becoming aware of the breath moving in and out. You are aware of sounds inside and outside. We're choosing not to attach a narrative, comment about the sound. Begin to deepen your breath, stretching and moving any way that feels delicious, and gradually bending your knees. Roll to your side, rest there for a few moments. No big hurry to jump up into the day. It's only going to meet me, at least, with things I need to do, posing against what I want to do. And roll all the way up and come to a seated position. And a few moments doing the cooling breath. It's a great pranayama. It's my August pranayama. If you can stick your tongue, curl your tongue and stick it between your lips, do that. If that little DNA marker did not get in your body as it did in mine, the tongue thrust forward as though you're rolling the lips around a straw, like you're about to stick your tongue out, and sip the air in, feel it cool coming over the tongue, and let the coolness descend, holding the inhale in for just a few beats, not so long to be effortful, but to let the cool air descend through the whole body, and then slowly inhale at your own pace. Continue that. Tongue thrust forward. Sip the air in, close the lips. Cool air descends, and when you're ready, you exhale heat, frustration, torpor, sipping in the cool air, feeling the energy of the coolness, pausing and holding with the lips gently closed. And when you're ready, exhaling through the nose, frustration, anything that needs to leave your body that's not serving you. So inhale sweetness, coolness, calm, pause, and just give it a gentle body receptivity, a gentle hug, and exhale whatever is not serving you. And on your next inhale, draw your hands together in front of the heart center. Namaste. Thank you, guys.